Harder difficulty in WWE Games is not limited to the settings that you see in the menu. No, it can go much further than that, with the choices that you make in WWE Games potentially creating a much harder scenario that is completely unnecessary, as there was a much easier way of going about it all. These can all either be accidentally done because you were totally unaware of the easier path, or you purposely did these things to increase the difficulty in a way that the options alone couldn't do. In the first SmackDown vs Raw Games season mode, there was a part where you had the chance to go after the world title. Vince McMahon would have a chat with your character, pretty much guaranteeing you a way to the championship without any real challenge.
Hey, I've had my eye on you for a while. I've got an offer for you. Do exactly what I tell you to do, and I guarantee you a championship. What do you say? You're saying no to me? Vincent Kennedy McMahon? You just made the biggest mistake of your career, pal!
What you will find out is that refusing to turn heel is not a good idea at all, as Mr. McMahon will make sure you have a much more difficult path to the title, including reffing your title match where you won't even count a single pinfall. The deck is stacked against you pretty much every week, and just when I thought the game might go easy on me with a tag team match, it ends up all being one big lie, as your mystery tag team partner ends up being the champion who is working with McMahon, essentially making it a 3-on-1 handicap match. I could have had a very easy path to the world title, but I just had to say no to Vince, and making the path to the world title much more difficult than even necessary. Weight detection wasn't even a thing in most early WWE games. I think No Mercy was the only WWE game with some kind of weight detection. Years passed and WWE games were becoming more and more of a simulation game rather than an arcade based game, and with simulation comes weight detection. SmackDown vs Raw 2007 would implement weight detection with a few different animations and difficulty perks that would give that heavier superstar a greater advantage and a harder task for the player who wanted the challenge of fighting a super heavyweight superstar with a cruiserweight. Like when you tried to punch, say, the Big Show as Rey Mysterio, it would show that it has no effect at all, and would even leave you open for an easy attack. Irish whips can't be done either, and once again leads you to taking a free hit. To top it all off, you even accumulate damage way easier, while at the same time it takes more to damage the heavier superstar. For those who wanted to make a match even harder than what legendary difficulty offered, then Cruisers vs Supers was a way to get that additional difficulty spike. In Edge's SmackDown vs Raw 2010 Road to WrestleMania storyline, you were pretty much handed easy wins when you was allowed to choose which superstar you would be facing against in matches. You could even choose who would be your tag team partner as well as your opponent's tag team partner at one point. Now, the obvious choice would be to keep picking the worst rated superstars to face up against, to keep getting quick and easy victories, as well as screwing over your opponent when you give them a terrible tag team partner. You can of course make all this way harder for yourself than it needs to be, by giving yourself an actual challenge by choosing to face someone like The Undertaker or Chris Jericho, rather than picking someone like JTG, who you could easily beat in like 2 minutes. And if you've ever played this Road to WrestleMania, you'll know already that you should take these easy match offers, because later on in the story you will face a complete 180 with constant tough challenges like being put in handicap matches. Universe mode in SmackDown vs Raw 2011 worked differently compared to the ones that followed it. The mode had an on and off button, and if you kept it on, then your usual exhibition matches would now take place within the craziness of Universe mode. This also means if you accidentally left Universe on, you could potentially and accidentally make the match way harder for yourself, as you could get a pre-match cutscene where you get beat up, which gives your opponent advantages like your character being more damaged or your opponent having one finisher already stored to use against you. I can't remember how many times it happened to me, but I know it was an annoyingly high amount of times where I'd forget to click that damn off button. SmackDown vs Raw 2006 season mode was way more different compared to the past season modes in the series in terms of how the storylines played out, meaning at one point of the game you had to win the match for the story to continue. Before that, we were used to everything continuing whether you won or lost. The must-win match was the Royal Rumble in SmackDown vs Raw 2006 story mode, and because of that fixed storyline narrative, there was a little exploit that allowed you to skip most of the match rather than starting right from the beginning of the Royal Rumble and then trying to get to the end and winning the Rumble, which would take about 20 minutes, and you spent all that time in a match that you could actually win in about 2 minutes. The exploit was to just simply lose the Royal Rumble, as the Royal Rumble would start up again and you would now, no matter what happened the first time, be one of the final 6 left in the ring in the rematch. So all you have to do is eliminate these other 5 superstars and you win. Those who completed the Royal Rumble match the first time over, you made it way harder than necessary. You could have saved a lot of time too. Having allies in WWE games is a great thing to have. They'll back you up in a 2-on-1 situation most of the time. I'd say it's wise to keep them on their good side and not to do something like form a team with that ally and then get in an argument with that said team member, and then rather than smoothing things over with them, crack them over the head for no real reason other than you just didn't want to apologise to them. Anyway, this can actually happen in SmackDown Just Bring It, and it's a bad idea to do because you'll not only lose your tag team title shot that you earned, you'll also get put into a very random, very difficult 3-on-1 handicap match against your now former tag team partner and 2 other people. So next time you're playing a WWE game, treat your partner well, unless it's Triple H of course. You just can't trust that guy. GM mode last appeared in SmackDown vs Raw 2008, and first of all, it's still crazy to think that we've not seen this mode in almost 12 years time. Anyway, in SmackDown vs Raw 2008, ECW made an appearance as a third brand that you could be the GM of. Compared to Raw and SmackDown, ECW is the much more difficult brand to pick, as you only get 1 title for the brand compared to SmackDown and Raw's 4 titles. Having title matches and title rivalries boosts match and show ratings, so as the GM of ECW, you have to be smarter with your booking decisions to get the high ratings, because you can't rely on a few title matches to get you out of a sticky situation like you could had you picked Raw or SmackDown. Being a custom character in career mode is a normal thing in the current day WWE 2K series, but in the earlier WWE games, specifically Here Comes the Pain for this entry, it could either be an actual WWE superstar or a custom superstar. It was up to you, it was your choice. However, being a custom character in Here Comes the Pain season mode is way more difficult, as your custom character is on super low stats, and you have to keep on grinding out victories to get your character's superstar points up higher and higher. There's one big problem though, which is sometimes you won't even get booked on the show that you're on. So you'll have to sometimes hope that you can find someone backstage to get a superstar point, and hope that you don't say the wrong thing to lose a superstar point, which at this point of the game would actually be a precious superstar point that you don't want to lose. Depending on who you choose, say you choose Stone Cold Steve Austin, you can start season mode and you'll be offered a world title match right away. Along with that, your character will not be super weak, super weird looking fella who gets damaged way too easily in matches. Everyone loves to talk a little trash in WWE games to see where it gets them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. In SmackDown Just Bring It, you had to be careful who you throw the trash talking at, as there is a point in the story mode where you had the choice to talk a little bit of trash to the APA, and it's not a good idea at all. If you do this, an impromptu handicap backstage brawl takes place, where if you lose, it was actually game over. And I don't mean current day game overs in WWE games where you get a rematch so you can try it again. No, you literally have to start the whole story mode all over again. It was literally game over. Not that it would take much time considering the story mode was only like 3 matches long in Just Bring It, but still you got thrown into a way more difficult situation than it should have been just because you wanted to do a bit too much of the trash talking. So that was the 9 times where you made WWE games way more difficult than necessary. Was there any other times that you encountered where you made WWE games way more difficult than what was necessary that I missed in this video? If you do know any, then make sure to leave them in the comments. So if you did enjoy this video, make sure to give it a like, and if you're new around here, make sure to subscribe with notifications turned on, and I'll see you all on the next video.